Shalom. Kol halalim la Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Rakak. Double honors to the apostles, elders, elder bishops of Great Millstone. Shalom to the prophets of that body, and shalom to the 144,001/3. May peace and blessings be upon you and your households in the spirit of endurance. Okay. As we approach the end, we are at the tail end of this heathen kingdom, which is the rulership of the Edomites, Esau, Edom being the so-called white man or the Caucasians. Okay. There's 18 nations on the planet. They all have their biblical names. And the so-called white man's biblical name is Esau, Edom. Okay. This is their rulership. We are at the tail end of it. And hence the reason why everything is being pushed into more of a seamless lifestyle, where people are getting rid of the old ways and adopting the new. And slowly but surely, Esau, the so-called white man, being the cunning devil that he is, okay, that's, a serpent, right? That cunning devil that he is, that cunning deceiver that he is, right, has been slowly but surely taking away certain freedoms and replacing them, okay, over a period of time, saying that it will be more beneficial for you in the future, okay? And with cash is totally untraceable, all right? And the powers that be don't want you to have a surplus of cash or a surplus of money. And obviously, they want the world in total lockdown. And to have the world in total lockdown, they want to know what you spend, what you think, right? What you are about to think, what you thought about yesterday, where you are right now, because they want to be all knowing, all seeing. Okay, they want to be, they want to have a power. They want to be like the Most High, because they want to be the God of this world, because the God of the heathens, of the so-called white man, is Satan, not knowing that these devils don't, it doesn't even comprehend, doesn't even come in their mind that Satan works for Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai on the left-hand side, right? And over a period of time, everybody is, used to tap, tap, tap. People talk about the lack of time. People talk about the lack of time to spend time with families, quality time, right? R&R, rest and relaxation. Time is going fast, and the time is going fast for the elect's sake. So people are in a hurry these days. The days of when you had optimism and you had time to, as they say, smell the roses are at the window. You don't even have a chance to even scratch your backside these days, right? Time is going so fast. So a lot of people are in this a world of, keeping track of everything and having less things to worry about and carry. For example, if you got cash, you lose it. It's your fault. You won't get it back. With a debit card or a credit card, something goes wrong and it isn't your fault. Banks have insurance, so you can get your money back. So there's a lot of positives for a lot of people using the tap, tap, tap method. All right. Now, see what's. All right. Let's go to First Peter. First Peter 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. All right. So through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, right, we have been learning, us students, right, have been learning from the men of the Lord, the men of Great Millstone. Okay. And we watched the older videos of Elder Apostle Tahar. We watched the, when he was a very young man in his 20s. Then we watched the videos of him when he's in his 30s. Then we watched the videos of him when he's in his 40s, 50s, 60s, right? I believe he's in his 60s, I think so, because the elders look young, they look strong. So therefore, sometimes, how Jake ages, like, as I say, Jake ages slowly, right? Jake ages well, let's just say that, right? We've been seeing these videos and they talk not just about the scriptures, they talk about history, they talk about timelines, they talk about how history repeats itself because there's nothing new under the sun, paraphrasing the scripture, okay? And now we're coming into that time again. All right, because Nero 47, Trump was the same individual at that time during 70 AD, which will make Jacob's trouble look like a Salakia, which is nothing compared to what Jacob's trouble is going to be. Jeremiah 30 verse 7. Now Jacob's trouble has started, but it's not in full gear, as they say, or full swing. Okay, and now now we've got Nero 47 again reincarnated, and Nero 47, mind you, has been coined by old Apostle Tahar, by the way, of Great Millstone. Okay, in the spirit power of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. And so Nero 47, he's back in his seat again at the same time. And as we with 70 AD on the rerun, it's going to be a replay, but it's going to be much, much more gruesome this time round. Okay, so look out for what he's going to do. I mean, he's more than likely to be going to be the person that initiates World War III, which is Revelation 11:14. So we've got a couple more prophecies to go, which is the RFI to the CHIP, okay, which is Revelation 13:16 and Revelation 11:14, and obviously the advancement of Jeremiah 30 verse 7 to go in full swing before the Lord Yahushua returns. Okay, so over half of UK adults now use mobile wallets. Okay, new figures from the UK Finance show how payment habits in the UK continue to evolve and how they are expected to change in the next decade. Okay, key findings from the payment markets report for 2024 show over half of UK adults, 57%, are now using mobile wallets. That's mobile wallets now. The digital wallet has been introduced as of recent. In other parts of the world, it's been in full swing, and also Sweden is way ahead in terms of they're at the let's just say they're at the top level of the pyramid. Let's just use that term, top level of the pyramid, because a lot of those people have taken the RFID CHIP, which is the final, which is the icing on the cake, which is what the powers that be, the so-called elites, right, want every single individual on the planet to be CHIP'd. Okay, if not, they're going to have be beheaded, tortured, or whatever, how they're going to do it, however the Lord will ordain it to happen, right? They want everybody chipped. Okay, so the way they're advancing to that is problem, reaction, solution. They're going to do certain things, then they're going to have certain solutions in place as well. And they're going to have the actors and the crisis actors and the AI, doing the Hollywood green screen and the Hollywood actions on media, on YouTube and other outlets where, they do their witchcraft, and people will be swayed into going in a certain direction. Okay, which will be the CHIP eventually. But mobile wallets, cash wallets, mobile wallets, now digital wallet, and then the RFID CHIP. Okay, I'm just letting you know the timeline. How things are advancing in that direction. How slowly but surely, like a frog is boiled in boiling water, but doesn't know it's being boiled. Okay, because if you turn the tea up straight away, chuck a frog in, the frog might jump straight back out. But if you leave the frog in the water, slowly simmering, ain't gonna know that it's cooked. Okay, all right. So debit and credit and charge card payments, both physical and mobile, accounted for 64% of all UK transactions. This is from 2024. This is last year. We're approaching 2026 now. Okay, Elon Musk has been successful in implanting the Neuralink, which is the brain CHIP. Okay, and in Revelation 13:16, it talks about your hands and your heads, right? Your hands and your heads. Okay. Okay, so, and it's been successful in the USA, it's been successful in the UK. Now the digital wallet has been pushed in here by Keir Starmer in the UK and in America. Other parts of the world are already in full swing. Sweden's already ahead with the RFID CHIP. All right, so they want the rest of the world to follow. Okay, that's why they're pushing all these things, making everything cashless, having less people at cash in banks working there, shorter hours, to the point where banks are closing. So everything will be all in a nutshell within the CHIP eventually. Okay, and then AI will take over. All right, so you won't be even dealing with a human being anymore. Okay, and plus they're going to crash the economy anyway. There's going to be various things that are going to come in conjunction to push everything into the CHIP, towards the CHIP. Debit cards were the most used payment method with 26.1 billion payments made. There were 18.9 billion contactless debit and credit card payments made, around 61% of all card payments. Okay, faster payments, or FPO, became like a fast payment order, or like an online transaction, became the second most used payment method, with 75% of adults using mobile banking. Right, cash payments accounted for less than 10% of all payments for the first time. All right. More people are now using digital payments, with rising use of in-app purchases, digital wallets, and buy now, pay later for shopping. At the same time, cash payments have again fallen. These trends show how people are increasingly turning to digital payment options, a shift that is expected to continue in the years ahead. Okay? Let's see if there's anything else I can add to this. I'm not gonna read the whole thing. I'm trying to get just the meat from the bones. Oh yeah, more people are using their phones, watches, or other mobile devices to manage money and make purchases. Phones, watches is just another. It basically becomes like another limb for people. People like, get breathless, or go into panic mode, catch cold sweats if they can't find their mobile phone. You know, it's like a real significant part of their life, because everything's in there: work, loved ones, stay in contact with your children if they're like under 12 years old, or 12, 13 years old, or 14 years old, they're a little bit late from school. People's life is in those phones. So people will utilize whatever's available in the future once these old technologies are phased out. Okay, so they're getting you used to it. All right, gone are the days when you just gotta wait for your children to come through the door at 6 p.m. to be in time for dinner. No mobile phones back in the day. One phone in the house. Okay, you just had to, it was just a norm back then. All right, in the late 70s, early 80s, even the early 90s. Right, you just had to be home. Summertime, you were out all day from 9 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock at night, playing soccer in the park. Playing basketball in the park. Just messing around in the streets. Those long summer days in the 80s. You remember them, right? Gone are those days where parents would just have faith that their children will walk through the door. Nowadays, people want to know your every move. So this is where we're coming to. All right, problem, reaction, solution. And ESO scares the hell out of parents as well. Your children will go missing, and there's gonna be a time where some increased kidnappings, children going missing. That'll be another situation parents will have to deal with. Do they get their children chipped as well? Just to keep track of them. We'll see how the Lord plays this out. Users for register for a mobile wallet service quickly seem to become more frequent users, and where contactless card payments replaced what were once low value cash payments, now contactless mobile payments appear to be replacing contactless payments initiated using a physical card. Of those who use mobile payments, half use them monthly and 44% weekly or more often. While younger people still lead the way in terms of adoption, 88% of 16 to 24-year-olds, 60 to 24-year-olds among those aged 65 and over, registration rose from 14% in 2023 to 25% in 2024. Okay. This is here, cards. Yeah, people are more tapping. Okay. Cash. As digital options become more widespread, cash use continued its long-term decline in 2024, falling to 4.4 billion payments compared with 6 billion in 2023. For the first time, cash accounted for less than 10% of all payments. Okay. Look, it says that cash remains more common among over 65s and younger adults aged 16 to 24. Often reflecting different circumstances. Younger adults may have limited access to cards, while older people may prefer familiar methods. Okay? For 16 to 24-year-olds, for the most part, especially nowadays, you'll be living at home. You might not have a job yet. So, if you're 16, especially you're at school, you're an athlete, you're doing so-called well. Your parents might, give you a few quid every week to live off, like buy you a pair of sneakers, clothes, or whatever. You might have like a part-time job. I don't know, delivering newspapers. I don't know. They don't do that anymore, do they? No, they don't do that anymore. Some kind of part-time job, right? To give you a few quid, so you might get cash in hand from your uncle that might own a grocery store, or maybe a friend's, whatever, right? Why you don't have access to debit cards or credit cards or whatever, so you might use cash. All right, that could be the case. And also 65-year-olds, and once you're like 20, from about 24 onwards, you're usually working, so you're going to usually have access to cards and things of that nature. Now, over 65-year-olds, they're old school, so they're going to prefer cash. They're going to prefer actually speaking to a human being when dealing with anything important when it comes to banking and things of that nature. So there's a middle ground here as well, whereas the youngster, Gen Z especially, will be probably the first in line to deal with modern technology. Those that are familiar with technology, and those that down there were born with a mobile phone in their hand, especially the newer generations, they're going to be easily be able to adopt, to take the seat, to let's just say, to take the chip when that time comes. Revelation 13:16. Okay, and those that are older will budge eventually once they're put into a predicament. They probably will go ahead as well. But a lot of older people don't have, aren't tech savvy. Their children don't come and see them, so they have, a lot of problems dealing with the modern way of living. Okay, and especially with banks closing, right? And this is their projections for 2034, but I don't believe we're going to be here that long. Okay, sorry, 2034 it says here, right? Yeah, 2034. Cards are going to be expected to be the majority of the time people will be paying mobile wallet. All right, let's go here. Ephesians 5:15 and 16. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. Walk around with your head on a swivel. Know your surroundings. Okay, so keep track of follow the scriptures, stay close. In watching the videos, learning from the prophets, calling upon the name of Yahweh Shemashai, and that's for Israelites only. Israelites only, no matter what you look like. Okay, Romans 8:16. If your spirit beareth witness, don't worry about what you look like. If you don't look like a so-called Negro, Latino, Native Indian, but you're more than likely an Israelite foreigner like myself. Call upon the name of Yahweh Shemashai, and the Lord will start working with you, man. Okay, verse 16, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Okay, so the days are evil. They're coming to that point. Okay, even people that are just your regular YNs on the street, even in the UK, they know, they even say, oh man, the end of the world is coming, end of the world is coming, but they can't pin it. They just know that something is off in the atmosphere, but they just can't pinpoint it. That's what it is. All right. So everybody's getting that vibration. So the days are evil. Okay.
Where the trusty wallet, imagine a world,
Copyright, fair use. Okay.
where the trusty wallet, once a staple in every Briton's pocket, is becoming a relic of the past. It's happening faster than you think. Fewer than half of Britons now carry a physical wallet, according to research released this week, while over 80% still own one. The rise of digital wallets like Apple Pay and Google Pay has made leaving home without cash or even a wallet increasingly common. But here's where it gets controversial. Is this shift entirely a good thing? Let's dive in. Younger generations are leading the charge. Link, the cash machine network behind the study, reveals that digital wallets are the go-to payment method for Gen Z and millennials. For older adults, debit cards remain the preferred choice, but the gap is closing fast. And this is the part most people miss. Despite the convenience, digital payments aren't foolproof. 6 in 10 people have experienced digital payment failures, with 1 in 5 abandoning purchases due to tech glitches. Yet over 11% of adults, especially those aged 35 to 44, regularly leave home with only a digital wallet. High earners are also more likely to embrace this trend, raising questions about accessibility for lower income groups. Cash isn't dead yet, though. More than half of adults used it in the past week, often for budgeting, small purchases, or shops with card minimums. Still, nearly 5 million Britons carry no cash at all, and 16.
Okay, because you're here in the UK, most corner stores, like for example, if you want to buy like a bottle of, they don't do bottles. Well, do they still do bottles of milk? Or if you want to buy a gallon of milk, for example, or if you want to buy a loaf of bread, you're running short. You don't want to go to the big supermarket, right? Because usually stores are within walking distance here, especially in the UK, because being so small. So you can use cash. You might spend because they won't do a debit or credit card payment for less than £5. It's got to be a £5 minimum. Most stores do, most corner stores. So a lot of these corner stores use cash. So for small purchases, people are still using cash, but that will be eliminated soon as well. Okay.
15 million have none at home. On average, people carry just £20 in cash and keep £10 at home. Interestingly, cash use is highest among those over 65, with 3/4 carrying it when they go out, compared to less than half of 18 to 34-year-olds. Debit and credit cards overtook cash as the most popular payment method in 2018, with 70% still carrying one. However, the report highlights a worrying trend. Over half of adults rely on a single payment network like Visa or MasterCard, and many digital wallet users store only one card on their devices. This lack of backup leaves them vulnerable if systems fail. The recent power outages in Spain and Portugal, which paralyzed electronic payments, serve as a stark reminder of this risk. Adrian Roberts, Deputy Chief Executive of Link, sums it up. Convenience may reign today, but it comes with increased exposure to tech failures. To mitigate this,
I'm not techie in any shape or form, but if there's going to be tech failures, right, and power outages and things like that, which are going to affect these digital payments, will these power outages affect someone taking this RFID CHIP in themselves? So I'm assuming this will be the RFID chip will be foolproof from these power outages, right? So maybe that'll be another avenue for it to be pushed as well. No glitches, no power outages, security proof, because as it's on you as a person, unless they chop your hand off or your head off, right? Something to think about.
The report suggests practical steps like keeping a small cash reserve, using multiple cards and wallets, installing a second banking app, and carrying a portable charger. Policymakers now face a dual challenge: preserving access to cash while bolstering the resilience of digital systems. The Bank of England is working on a national payments vision, but Link warns more needs to be done to protect consumers and retailers. The wallet's role may be fading, but its legacy raises important questions. If Del Boy were still hustling in southeast London, he'd quickly learn that it's not the thickness of your wallet that matters, it's whether your phone has signal. But here's the real question. As we embrace digital convenience, are we sacrificing too much security? Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you still carry cash, or are you all in on digital payments? And if systems fail, how prepared are you?
Ephesians 6:11. Put on the whole armour of the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yashai, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. What's putting on the whole armour of God is be immersed in this truth. Okay, but most importantly, you must have the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Rakak Kodash. You have to call upon the name. Okay, because the elect are going to call upon the name. That's the book of Ecclesiastes, I believe. Let me get that up. The elect shall call upon the name. Ecclesiastes, King James Version. Oh no. It's my accent, so I'm bringing it up. Ecclesiastes? The elect shall call. Let's find it. Try again. The elect shall praise his name. King James Version. Yeah, Ecclesiasticus. The book of Ecclesiasticus 17 and 10. And the elect shall praise his holy name. Okay, what's the Lord's holy name? Okay, whoever, paraphrasing scripture, who's ascended, descended, what's his name and what's his son's name, if thou can tell, if thou can tell. Okay, paraphrasing another scripture, the election hath obtained it and the rest were blinded. Okay, the elect have the name. The elect are going to call upon the name, right? So put on the whole armor of the Most High Yahweh Shem Yashai, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. A lot of people don't have that covering of Yahweh Shem Yashai, so they're going to be persuaded and swayed. They're going to be sweet talked, you know. They're going to be sweet talked and taken into taking the penetration, the way they were jabbed before with a C19 thingamajiggy, right? With the supposedly what you call allegedly the cure, all right? They were boxing jabbed, right? All right. They were right crossed with a jab, and then, they were jabbed, then they were right crossed. They took they were penetrated with a supposedly the cure during C19. They didn't jump over that hurdle. They weren't covered there. The elect, the elect didn't take that shit. Okay, now we're going to come into that time again. You've got to stand against the wiles of the deceiver. So you've got to be immersed in this truth. You've got to have the name for protection. Okay, wherever your portion is, take it, man. The Lord is, giving it to you. All right, don't buck up. Get this truth while it's there, because the men of the Lord are not going to be on the streets teaching, man. Our teachers and prophets and elders, teachers and prophets out there, the men of Great Millstone and affiliate camps, that give double honors to the elders. Verse 12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Okay? So to go against these spiritual wickednesses in high places, you've got to have that shield, man, of Yahweh Bashem Yashai, that protection. Okay? Hence the reason why the Lord is saying, put on the whole armor of the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yashai. All right? Because we're coming into some serious times. Right now, I'm just going through some articles. Some people might find it boring or whatever, but this is significant key information to let you know how things have been evolving and where it's going. Okay? It's going to go to this. Revelation 13, 16, 17, and 18. Let's read that. Okay. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. We've seen people in Sweden take it in their hands. We've seen Elon Musk put in people's foreheads. The Neuralink. Isn't this coming to pass? And at the same time, simultaneously, aren't they pushing the digital wallet? Okay. It's going hand in hand, right? Now something's going to happen. All right. Might happen now, might happen in 2026. All right. Lord willing, everything happens yesterday, but you know what I mean? Obviously, we can't push prophecy. Everything's going to happen in the divine time that Most High Yahweh Shem Yashai has ordained it to happen. When it does happen, right, it's going to be, we know, when these things do happen, all right, it's going to happen in its divine time. We can't push prophecy, but it is going to happen. Something will happen where the digital wallet won't be foolproof. They'll make some kind of story up that is an issue. Then they're going to say, okay, this is the best way to do it. They'll show miracles. They'll show people probably jumping over walls and reusing their limbs and having some kind of superpower. And then all these weirdo nerd Edomites out there that want to be like Captain Caveman, Captain America, Iron Man and all that. They can say, oh man, I'm going to take it. I'm going to do it. Fuck it. It's the future. That. Then you got with the economy crash, how they're going to buy and sell things. They want their optimism and happiness back, so they're going to take it. People want to keep track of their children because they're being kidnapped, so people are going to chip their children. They chip themselves. They say, okay, if my children are CHIP'd, I'm going to get CHIP'd as well. All right, there's many avenues these devils going to use. You just got to be circumspect and be alert, have that alert system spiritually in your mind and your body to let you know. Yahweh Shem Yashai knock you in your mind. Hello, look what's happening right now. So okay, shit, this is what they're doing. Okay, yeah, it's going this way in that direction. Okay, you stay prayed up. You listen to the lessons, watch the lessons. you know, and our elders and apostles and elders will be breaking it down, man. Saying, "Oh shit, look what's happening. Oh man, look, oh, you know, look what's going on." And so we're coming into that time. Some people think, "Oh shit, things are going slow. The apostles and elders are saying the same stuff. Oh, hell's about to break loose. Hell's about to break loose." But it is about to break loose. How many times does an alarm go off? Doo, 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 or bah, 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 wah, 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 or however the damn alarm goes. You know, I'm not a sound effect person like that Jake from Police Academy. You know, I don't know how to do them sound effects, right? How many times does the alarm just go bang? Does it go wah? Does it go beep? It goes numerous times, right? Beep, 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 beep. The same way the elders and apostles and elders and prophets are saying, hell's about to break loose, hell's about to break loose, hell's about to break loose, hell's about to break loose. That's a spiritual alarm system. If you're not going to take heed, you're going to get fucked. Okay? Penetrate. Okay, if you heathens, we don't give a shit about, but you Jakes we're talking to, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and native Indians of Negroid and Indian descent, regardless of how you look. It doesn't matter what your mother is. It's about your father, right? Okay, and those of you Israelite foreigners that don't have that look, that don't come under the 12 tribe sign, but are scattered to the four corners of the earth. The 12 tribe sign basically has that because it alludes to ground zero, America. Hence the reason, because that's our final captivity. Hence the reason why it says so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians. It doesn't say Nigerians and Ghanaians and Israelite foreigners from the land of Elam, even though there are Jakes everywhere, because we are scattered to the four corners of the earth, pursuant Deuteronomy 28:64, Isaiah 11 and 11, 11, 12. Because the second Exodus, everyone's going to be picked up from all four corners, right? Okay? So, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark. A mark meaning charagma, insertion, penetration into the flesh, if you read it out of the blue letter. Okay? Charagma in the Greek meaning penetration, or cutting into the flesh, or etching into the flesh, or a stamp or a mark of servitude. And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. How are you going to buy or sell? This mark is literally physical. It's not dealing with white women, and there's nothing wrong with dealing with white women. Just don't follow their doctrine and make sure those so-called white women are single. As long as they're single, fine, clean, all right, you can deal with them and don't follow their doctrine. They're a concubine on this side, and they're going to be concubine on the next. You just deal with them. Do the 1-2 in the bedroom and enjoy that loveliness and keep it moving. You know, keep her on the side, you know. She's cool with you, deal with it. Just play the game. All right? You don't have to tell her everything. You just play that, what do you call the so-called boyfriend game. And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Okay? Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Okay, so this is where we're going. This is where we're going towards. Okay? All right, from the mobile wallets to the digital wallet, from the digital wallet to the Neuralink to the CHIP. Okay, you see the advancements. All right, very soon, Jakes are not going to be holding stacks to their ear like a phone. They're going to be holding that charagma, man. They're going to be putting their hand to their head, saying, "Look, I got the charagma." You know, knowing wicked Jake might start stunting with the charagma, man, the chip in the hand. I don't know. They might start. I don't know what the hell do. Jake might say, "Oh, I got a gold-plated RFID chip in my hand, man." You know, you can see it glowing because there's a special light in there or some shit. You know how Jake's gonna do it, right? So this is where we're going, man. All right. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yashai, Ba'ashem Rakak Badash, Mawatha Bad Babal, Kwam Yashrala, Shalom.